Alright, Chris. It has been an emotional roller coaster the last 11 games. There's been ups. We climbed that mountain. There's been lows. We played that fire game that fucking sucked. But it's time for the mid-season review. And
Oh my god.
it's time to adjust the scores on the doors. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Okay. I think best place to start is where we started. That's Overthrown. This music is very dramatic on its end. Let me just turn that down a
Excellent.
little. Overthrown. That was kind of a goofy game. We initially gave that quite a brutal rating and review. I think it's our most brutal one to date. But we didn't really have an idea about the format.
It was really early, and also we didn't really know yet what we were going to do with this. And we were a bit harsh, maybe.
I don't even think we had the 1 hour format in place at that point. I think we just played it for an hour and finished it.
And then decided that's what we were going to do for the rest.
That game, I mean, that video's now what, 5 months out of date? There's been a lot of updates. Because I think we streamed that in January before we actually submitted it. Or posted it.
Yeah, so it's probably a whole different game now, to be fair.
It's worth revisiting. I don't think based on what we played, I don't think we were unfair with our number. But we were harsh.
I think it did need more content, but it might now have that.
And apparently the building mechanics are really solid. As in, like, you can make something look really pretty with the pathing and such like that. But I do think it's still a C tier game. The movement was incredible. I loved doing the wall bouncing into the dive. It made me feel like I was playing Super Mario Odyssey, but without all of the charm that made Super Mario Odyssey fantastic.
Yeah, I think they could do some really cool stuff with like the villager management and stuff as well, but again, we didn't really get to see much of that.
I mean, I'm happy to keep it in C tier, but
yeah, I'd say it's a high C tier now.
It will be on the list of things to revisit at such point.
Yeah.
Up next, we have Towerborn.
Oh.
Now, Towerborn's a weird one. Was that early access?
I can't remember.
I think it might have been.
Yes.
Because we also gave that C tier, I believe. But I think the main criticism we both had was the visual mess.
It was very screen cluttered.
It was very much visual mess, and very sad that that was the case.
I feel like, unfortunately, we also saw very little of the game in the hour.
It's not even that we saw very little of the game. I think we saw the perfect amount of what the game had to offer. It's just, we only saw one environment, which was the grasslands.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you, as you go forwards through the map, there's more environments. Maybe there's like a dark grey one, because there's going to be a dark grey one, there always will be. But the combat was very button spammy, and you'd lose yourself in the combat. And there was this weird problem that kept happening where you'd be stood next to an enemy trying to hit them, but because you're ever so slightly above them on the vertical plane, you just wouldn't hit them. And it's just constantly happening, and you add that into the mess of visuals. It was really hard to try and actually get through. Plus, that boss at the end had so much health. Like, it wasn't a tough fight. There was no risk of either of us dying.
Just damage sponge.
It was a time sink. And I mean, I like time sink bosses. There's the dragon at the Dark Souls 3, or it's either 2 or 3. Well, the entire point of that battle is he has a fuckload of health, and you just have to keep hitting him and hope you don't die. But that was actually quite fun, because you have the impending risk of you make one mistake, you're cooked. But this, if you make one mistake, you're fine. So I don't know. I'm pretty happy with our score of C tier, unless you want to potentially bump it up.
I would say C. C I'm happy with.
If the visual clutter
Um,
and the alignment issue get fixed, this could be easy B tier for sure.
I have just been doing some reading on the Steam page about this. And I almost want to degrade the game based on what I'm reading.
AI?
No.
Oh.
So, despite the fact they basically have made people pay for the game, they've now changed it so that the game tiers that you could buy are to give you early access to the game.
Oh.
But once the game launches in 1.0, it's going to be free to play.
Oh, that no. Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah. But it's currently the cheapest pack is the Silver Founders Pack, and it's £22.
And
And
then,
that gives you Towerborn and the Silver DLC. But it used to be that you could just buy Towerborn, which you can't anymore. Since they've launched this model, apparently. And there was a lot of negative reviews about that.
yeah, see, I have a bad history with games doing that. I got burnt really bad with Destiny.
Yeah.
And the music's got quite sad.
So that sucks a little bit. But yeah, I feel we can't really rate it on that because I'm literally just reading that now. But
Well, I mean, scummy practices from developers post. That's the whole point of doing this reviews, right? The mid-seasons.
yeah, true. True.
I
mean, they haven't done it fully yet, by the looks of it. So,
right, it's in limbo. It's a C tier for now, but if that does happen and it
if
goes
happens,
to shit,
it's-
avoid the
yeah.
game and it'll be a D tier. Alright, Revenge of the Savage Planet is the next one, Chris. Now, I liked Savage Planet. I genuinely liked Savage Planet. I thought it was charming. It was funny. The weird cutscenes were just weird enough to be engaging, but not so weird that you wanted to gouge your eyes out. And there's that one where
So I
the...
think this was the one that you rated quite high, and I didn't really rate it.
Yeah. We rated it twice, because we did play this game for after the hour had finished. And I adjusted my score. I think I went up or down one.
I think you went down one, I went up one, so it stayed the
Yeah,
same. So we didn't change the rating. But
Like, there was that one video of... because you had the fat dude on the mobility scooter trying to get up. And it was just, what? And then immediately following that, just when you think you've had enough and your brain can't really process more, we got fucking Shamalama Ding Dong's Academy. And it was... it was just bizarre. But the actual gameplay was fun. I liked the weird movement animations. I thought they were charming. The animals were cute, but when you killed one of the raccoons and their eyes popped out, what the fuck was that?
yeah, I mean, it was a bit derpy, but it almost just felt a bit too easy.
I wonder if there was a difficulty slider in the game that we just missed.
That is very possible, but it did just feel a bit like I was playing it for the sake of playing it. I wasn't really enjoying my time.
Because we got all the way to the second planet, and I don't think we really struggled.
No.
There was that one fight, the crocodile on top of that mountain. It was quite intense. That's only because of the weird mechanic with you have to wait for it to open its mouth and then shoot precisely in his mouth. But the detection on that seemed a bit wonky. There was a few times when I'd shoot the inside of his mouth, like my cursor's perfectly in his face, and it would not register as an actual hit. So that was kind of odd. But we gave this B tier, and I'm happy for that to stay there. I think if you like weird games and you want to have a nice chill adventure going through the marshes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad game, but I wouldn't play it again, I don't think.
I have to say, so far, nothing has changed on the scores on the doors.
We're so consistent.
But there are some that definitely will change.
There is definitely, I think, 3 that might change.
3.
Yeah.
See. Well, let's just see. I'm curious now.
Actually, maybe 4.
Alright, well, we've got 8 left,
Ooh.
so 50% of these might be going up or down.
Yeah. Next up is RoboQuest. So we originally gave this a B. I honestly think it was a really charming game, and I sort of want to go back to it. So this is one I think I would like to push up to.
I would concur. I said in the review that I didn't think it would be a good like second monitor game. You can replay it while watching something on your second monitor, but I did try and do that for a little bit. And
Yeah, you definitely can.
you can do it, but you play worse.
Well, yeah.
I do think we should revisit that. Like, actually, in the Orcs Must Die wrap up, you said about if we ever did a 24-hour stream, if we ever do one of those,
I think that would be one of the games for it.
RoboQuest
yeah,
would absolutely. It wouldn't even just be a palate cleanse. It would just be like a good, I don't know, 2-hour just romp, killing some robots. It was fun. I think I sort of I was playing a lot of Destiny prior to playing RoboQuest, and I think the gunplay felt less satisfying as a result of that. But the bow and the revolver, getting those crits was quite satisfying. I think
just the variety of weapons was nice too. Like so many games now just have like 3 guns.
Looking at you, BFC Firebreak. BFC, that's a fucking chicken place. FBC?
FBC, I think. But yeah, there was a nice variety. It was good fun, and I mean, I haven't played that many roguelike, but this was a good one, I think.
Oh, and that combination with I had the javelin. I can't remember what the name of the class was, but when I went invisible, I got the ability to leave a clone of myself behind that could start shooting. And I could just double up my boys, and they were just firing pistols that set things on fire. It was a good power fantasy. Like, you genuinely felt more powerful as you went up. The only thing I think... I'm happy to move it up to A tier. The only reason I would ever drop it back down to B tier is if we have seen every single enemy type.
Yeah, but I don't think we have.
Like, there was that big worm slug thing. I'm assuming there'll be more little mini bosses like that throughout the areas, but will there be different enemy types as you go through the different sections? Because I think we went to Oasis and Canyon.
Yeah, possibly.
Like, when I was playing solo, I did manage to beat the first boss. I had a big bomb-looking thing, and I went to the different area afterwards, and it looked quite nice. It was more bright and vibrant. But I think the enemy types are mostly the same still, so I don't know. Hopefully there's more enemy variety. If there's enemy variety plus with all the weapon stuff as well, easy A tier. Easy. Get up there, RoboQuest. You've earned it. You bitch. Alright, Chris. This is the other one that's definitely changing. Peak.
It just might be.
Peak is... I'm putting in S. I think that deserves an S tier.
I think you're wrong. I think it's a D tier.
You think it's D tier? Is that just because you sucked at it yesterday?
I'm joking. So yeah, we gave this an A, but it is definitely an S tier. We've played it every time we've played since.
It's fun. The new difficulty modifiers, as you like finish a climb, you'll get the next ascent. The first one, I think, was increased fall damage. Second one's increased hunger. We haven't played with the third one yet. As the time of recording this, anyway, we're playing it straight after.
Yeah, but the big thing I think was that we weren't sure when we did the review how different the maps would be day to day.
They are different.
And how the like procedural generation would work, but it seems really solid. I don't know how they've done it, but there is sort of not really clear paths, but there is always ways to do it, despite the fact the map is completely different.
We did. Well, I'll show like a clip of the first ice we did here. It was quite nice. It was sort of flat and hilly. But then we played yesterday, and it was just a bunch of spikes, and it was gorgeous. Like, it does seem like there's a lot of variation that can occur, but for real though, fuck the tropics. I hate the tropics so much. Oh no!
I mean, I'm not a fan of climbing games, but honestly, yeah, this is an S tier. I will play this again and again.
We've got a nice L forming on the board.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's gonna get ruined now though.
Yeah, because it's War Tales. We gave that an A tier.
Without having played that again, I would keep that in A tier because it was a good game. I saw a lot of potential in it, and I would at some point like to go back to it. We've just got a lot of things on at the minute.
Yeah, I do. Again, War Tales easy long stream contender. I don't think that's something that we'd be able to do on a day. Because we normally stream for like what 3 hours. We'd get a little bit in, but we'd want to ideally do, if we'd like do a Sunday or something. We can stream in the morning and in the evening, or afternoon and evening. We'd get
War
a good
Tales is
chunk in.
commitment. You're doing a campaign. You're not just playing 1 hour race up a hill.
But Philbert, what an absolute chad. That's A tier. Now it's a T. Look at that. Yeah, you got a cup of tea, Chris.
Not in the middle. No. It's like that.
Because there's a T on the fucking screen. Drink that. Alright, Orcs Must Die, Death Trap.
We put this in C. I would happily keep it in C. It wasn't awful. It ran. There was no obvious bugs, but at the same time, it didn't really work as a roguelike. I don't think.
I'm actually going to do the opposite. Upon reflection, upon editing the video, upon fucking up the edit of the video and muting your voice for the first 5 minutes of it, Orcs Must Die, Death Trap. I'm going to give it a D tier. I think it should go in D tier. For the very clear reason that if you wanted to play Orcs Must Die, just play any of the other games, you'll have 1,000,000 times more fun.
There is that.
It's not even arguably, it just is categorically the worst of the series.
Yeah.
You don't get
the previous one was just so much better. Thoroughly enjoyed playing through it. But this one you just felt you had everything you ended that one with. Yeah. But at the same time they were trying to make it feel like there was development in the roguelite, and there wasn't.
Because you open the trap list at the beginning of the game, you've just started, you've fresh spawn. You are overwhelmed with options. And it's like, if you've never played any of the other games before, you're gonna think, like, what the hell's going on? It doesn't feel like the beginning. It would have been better if it was a DLC for the last one that came out, not a full game.
Yeah, for sure.
But I can't give it higher than a D tier, in my opinion.
Yeah,
especially because the character customization seems so limited. There was a wardrobe, you can change the look of your character, but you can't change the weaponry. And that was half of the fun of the last one. You could pick your loadout specifically before going into whatever encounter you're about to go into.
Yeah, true. I'm going to agree with you on the D. I'd say it's a high D. It's maybe low C, so go for D.
It's definitely it's a 2, not a 1.
Yeah.
But it ain't a 3.
It's a 2.3.
Like, C tier games are games that I think are worth giving a look. It might be your cup of tea, it just wasn't ours. D tier, play anything else. Literally.
D tier is a bad game.
Now Trailmakers.
Trailmakers is another one that I think should be moving on the table.
It should be moving, and I think it should move a different direction to Orcs.
Correct.
Trailmakers is incredible. The Pioneer mode specifically is incredible. The other one, not so much. You haven't tried the other one, have you, Chris?
I haven't. No, I've only played the Pioneer.
So the other one, you roam around an empty landscape. There's no froggets or anything to interact with, and you just need to find these boxes or little ball things and take them to these little pickup points, and that'll either unlock you parts for your car or parts for your spaceship, and that's it. That's all there is to it. It's a lot more puzzle solving. You have got like build cars to try and get to places, or modify cars to pull things off of a ledge.
Yeah, so if I'm right, that was the original, and then they added all the Pioneer stuff on.
Yeah.
To actually give it like a story and purpose.
I think Pioneers is why it's 2.0. But no, Pioneers are a lot of fun. Goofy, fun, it was silly. The mechanics, despite being clunky to try and place the blocks where you actually want to place them, it is, it's workable, and with a nudge feature as well.
Solid. And the creativity involved in building the cars, not either of us particularly good at it.
Yeah,
I think is genius, and it's basically Lego. I mean, what more do you want?
The physics is also so bad that they're unironically beautiful. And there was that point where you just I think I grabbed onto you while you were in the water, and we just went fucking flying. Or when I pulled my car down and you just exploded into pieces. Oh, beautiful. It's good. It's an A tier. Play Trailmakers. It's free on Game Pass. Actually, most of these games are free. Except Peak, but Peak is worth the money.
So next up we have Police Simulator, and I think this has only got one direction to go, seeing as it was a D tier.
Hell yeah, baby.
No, it's not good to us. But yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if I was in a bad mood or something that day, but I think I judged it a bit harshly, especially playing a different game afterwards that then showed me how good it actually was. I'd honestly put this as a high C. I think
it was a charming simulator. Giving people tickets for stupid reasons was a lot of fun, and it was quite intense. There was an actual game to the play.
I also think there was a lot more the game had to offer that we maybe didn't get to see in the hour. So like the whole driving part of it, I don't know what that's about, but I imagine would be quite fun.
I think the main reason we rated it so harshly was because we played it for an hour and then realized that we hadn't got most of the map unlocked, which is a good thing. But you don't get the car until you've had the entire map unlocked. But yeah, you have to have the entire map to get a car.
Yep.
And I feel like patrol officers, you expect to have like a patrol vehicle, but I don't know. Again, I think
patrol is a big part of the job.
One that could be worth revisiting in the future, but definitely not a D tier game. Not the worst game we've ever played. The worst game we've ever played is the next one on this list.
I don't even want to talk about that one anymore. Just D tier. Maybe even E. Can we add a new tier?
No, we'll put it in F for Firefighter Simulator.
No. I had such high hopes for that game. It's like the concept of fighting fires just.
It's cool.
It seems like a fun game concept.
It also
just felt so short.
It feels like such an easy thing to get right. And
basically, I want power wash with fire.
Yeah.
Why is that so hard?
Give me the power wash spray gun and a bin that's on fire and let me just put it out. But everything about it was tedious. Controlling the AI was a fucking nightmare.
You put ladders in places that didn't even reach the fucking fire.
Yeah, when you were going across on that fucking thing, trying to hit the tree. And the only way to put out fires, it wasn't a case of, like, you actually spray around the fire. You just hold the water at the fire until the little icon fills up, and then fire gone. And
the worst part of the game, which you didn't even get to experience, because in the two-player, for some reason, you just get stuck in the back of the van. The driving was absolutely awful. It felt like you were driving on an ice rink. You touch D slightly, and you just do like a 90-degree turn.
That's the other thing.
A fire truck has momentum.
There were 2 fire trucks. Why did I have to ride in bitch? Give me control of the other one.
Never.
We could have had a race. That would have made the game a lot more exciting. But no, the tutorial as well sucked. I think it took us 25 or so minutes to get through the entire thing.
Yeah, and I didn't feel I learned very much.
And the only thing about that game that was even moderately good was when you went through the thing too quickly. So, no, we kept pressing the wrong button to call the AI over. So when he finally did the thing we were supposed to do, all of the times we'd pressed the button just played one after the other, and he just kept saying, here, yeah, alright, chief, yep, alright. Just constantly. That was good. But the game screwing up is no reason for it to be bumped up. It was bad. If you want to play a simulator game, play Police Simulator before you play Firefighter Simulator. And then don't play Firefighter Simulator, save space. Alright. We have one game left, Chris.
So just before we go on to Wargroove, I'd like to point out that 5 of the 9 so far have moved.
Wait, 9 of the 5? What?
5 of the 9.
Said 9. Adam. Yeah, this is looking a bit healthier.
That is a fraction of.
Fraction of these games have been good. That's sad.
Right, Wargroove. Thoughts on the doors?
Thoughts on the doors? The door's open. That's good. Wargroove, I think is B tier. I want to move that up.
I completely agree. I would like to revisit it. And to be honest, I think the rating was because it's not really our sort of game.
Well, I mean, I did get stuck on the fact that it has groove in the title, and I was expecting it to be like a rhythm-based thing.
Yeah, you were a bit disappointed by that, I noticed.
I wasn't a bit, I was incredibly fucking butthurt about that. But
again, I think that would be a lovely little, like, palate cleanse game between games on the stream.
it's a potential head-to-head as well.
It is a potential head-to-head.
Although, actually, no, it can't be
takes,
because...
like, 15?
Well, I think we played 2 or 3 games on that, and you beat me every single time because you're a little bitch.
So we should definitely do a head-to-head on it.
Its biggest drawback, honestly, in retrospect, is that all of the characters have the same units. Like,
That surprised me, but also I guess for balancing reasons, that's the easiest solution.
it's also the laziest.
Oh, it's fully the laziest, but I
Like,
guess that's what.
if you're one of the... Because I was the weird, like, necromancer rabbit chick or whatever the fuck. Like, I should have had, like, skeleton units to control, or even just skeleton versions of the other units that you have control over. Because they were like
Yeah.
orcs, and maybe they have like goblin-looking versions. If you're going to have the same unit types, at least make them look visually different. But
I
as...
think the other thing was, talk about balancing. Some of the units were not balanced.
No. That gunner,
Because
dude.
like that rifleman, you could buy him for, what was it, like 600-700, and he just absolutely destroyed your hero.
There was nothing I could do. I couldn't get far enough away.
And he could shoot you from across the map, bro.
Because I think he could shoot like 9 tiles long and a 3 wide line.
Something like that, yeah.
And I could move like 5 tiles a turn. So if I'm in your range, on your next turn, you can move the guy left a little bit and still shoot. I can't escape that range. So that unit, if we do if we do actually do a head-to-head, we have to ban some of the more broken units. At least make it interesting. But no, I think this is looking a lot healthier than it was.
This looks like a better spread tray than this other tray that we had originally,
There was quite... Oh, it's very square.
which was very C heavy.
It's still... I mean, it's
we have
hilarious
one
to me that the first 3 games that we did... Actually, yeah, most of them have moved. Wartails didn't.
But what, one thing moved down?
2.
Everything else moved up?
Oh no, one thing did move down.
Yeah, orcs moved down. Nothing else did.
And we have our first S tier.
Which tells me that we judge things too harshly.
I mean, we're going to, though. Especially... I'm looking forward to seeing our end season review. Because we've started filming some of those already. Some of them are shit. Like, some of them are absolutely dog shit. There's 2 games that we couldn't actually make it through the hour. One of them, which I guess will be a bonus addition to the end of one of the videos because we only played it for 5 minutes. But it didn't have a co-op mode.
Yes.
Well, it did, but it wasn't a real co-op mode.
So stay tuned for that. Absolute gem of a game.
It
We
will
may actually have to make a new tier. Put it that way.
unfinishable. Yeah, I guess E tier, extremely shit.
E tier has just got to be 0/unplayable.
Yeah. But I think that wraps up this this review.